third. Wide open is Connor in midfield. He's got it. And he's free down the sideline, 35.
All right, it's one thing to talk about the best quarterbacks in the league. I mean, everyone loves a good MVP debate. But what about the guys who are out there making us cringe week after week with their terrible play? Whether it's bad decision-making, poor accuracy, or just flat-out failure to lead their teams, these signal callers are falling way short of expectations, and oh boy, is it getting painful to watch. So today, let's take a look around the NFL and call out the 10 worst quarterbacks that we've seen so far this year. Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers. We have to start off with Bryce Young because, oh man, it is looking like this may be the last chance we have to include him in this list, considering he has been essentially ousted in Carolina in favor of the journeyman backup Andy Dalton. Just how broken is Bryce Young? Well, he completed just 55.4% of his passes for 245 yards and 0 touchdowns with 3 interceptions. I don't know about you, but to me, that's pretty dang broken. Broken enough that, as mentioned, the Panthers decided that they couldn't take it anymore and they turned to the veteran Dalton. This switch-up shined the light on the fact that it might not have been the rest of the Panthers that were the issue, so much as it was Young, as Dalton came out and led the offense to its best performance in what felt like years, and a winning one at that. Right now, it's hard to see a path forward for Young, in Carolina or elsewhere, frankly. Unless something changes fast, his time in Carolina could be running out. And while there will probably be a team to roll the dice on him as a reclamation project a la Sam Darnold in Minnesota or Justin Fields in Pittsburgh, the reality is that he certainly has not done himself any favors with the way that he has played so far this year. And thus, his NFL future at large is now very much in jeopardy. Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns. Oh, Deshaun Watson. Oh, what a piece of work he has proven to be. Cleveland gave up a lot for this guy. 3 first-round picks plus a 3rd and 4th rounder for a good measure and $230 million guaranteed. And yet, Wilson has been anything but elite. In fact, he has been far from it. Through the first 3 games of the year, he has completed just 57.8% of his passes for 551 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He's added a little bit on the ground, but let's be real. Those numbers are not what you expect from a guy getting paid that kind of money. Watson's struggles have led to fans calling for a change at quarterback. Some want the Browns to make a move in the offseason, while others are ready to see Jameis Winston take over right now. Which honestly makes a lot of sense after seeing how the Browns turned it around last year down the stretch with Joe Flacco under center while Watson was hurt. When you factor in the insane investment that Cleveland made in Watson, and of course the PR firestorm that they had to navigate during that process, it's hard to deny that he is one of, if not the worst quarterback in the league this year. Will Levis, Tennessee Titans. There's trouble a-brewing in the Music City for quarterback Will Levis and his Titans, who are still without a win through 3 games following their 30-14 loss against the Green Bay Packers at home. To say that the start of the 2024 season has not been kind to Levis is a massive understatement, both speaking performance-wise and with the physical beating that he's taken. Despite the offseason investment that Tennessee put into their O-line, Levis has still been sacked 8 times in Week 3 alone. Just so you understand, that is 15 sacks in 3 games. Oof. During that stretch, he's thrown for 549 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions while completing 68.1% of his passes. And the turnovers, well, they just keep coming. For the 3rd week in a row, Levis committed multiple turnovers, bringing his total to 8 in just 3 games. The arm talent is there, and he has more than enough athleticism, but the decision-making at times is just horrendous. Levis does have a chance to turn it around, but right now, he has got to be included on our list of worst quarterbacks in 2024. Skyler Thompson, Miami Dolphins. All right, we got to preface this one with saying that Skyler Thompson might not be the Dolphins quarterback for long, not just because of how badly he's played into his absence, but also the fact that he suffered a chest injury in Week 3 that knocked him out of the action. And of course, his understudy, Tim Boyle, looked so much better than him, albeit in a very, very small sample size of what was effectively garbage time. But in any case, we now turn our attention away from the misery of the Dolphins quarterback situation and zoom in on how bad Thompson was during his time time as Miami's QB1. He has completed 13 of 19 passes, but only for 107 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and 5 sacks. So essentially, he's done nothing. The offense couldn't move the ball, and their most dangerous weapons, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, have been absolutely wasted without a competent quarterback to get them the football. It's uncertain of whether or not we will see Thompson again this year, but hey, thanks for the memories, even though they weren't so great. Anthony Richardson, Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson has got physical talent, no doubt, but he really needs to learn when to take what the defense gives him instead of always going for the big play. Till then, he'll probably have to stay on this dubious list because it has been tough sledding for him thus far in the 2024 season. He is completing just under 50% of his passes, and while he has made some highlight reel throws, he's also made some really bad decisions, like his red zone interception in Week 3 against the Bears. And when you have 6 interceptions through 3 games, we are unfortunately going to have to turn a blind eye to your cannon for an arm and all the jaw-dropping plays that you can make. Through 3 games, he is 36 of 73 for 583 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. You don't gotta be an analytics nerd to know that that leaves a lot to be desired. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears. In Caleb Williams' defense, we are just 3 weeks into his NFL career, and he has shown improvement each and every week. Frankly, there's still more than enough reason to believe that he will develop into a star. But this is the list of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL this year so far. And based on how he has played so far, we have no choice but to include the #1 overall pick of the 2024 NFL Draft. As man, he has really struggled to find his footing at the NFL level. Even during Week 3, his best start to date, during which he posted a stat line of 363 yards and 2 touchdowns, he still had a number of miscues and mistakes that piled up and made the Bears' offense look disjointed and ultimately cost them the game. Williams has a ton of natural talent, but he has really struggled under pressure from the opposing pass rush. The Bears were hoping for a lot more out the gate from Williams when they drafted him, and for some reason, most of the media just went along with it, expecting him to excel from day one. But at this rate, it is going to be a while before he lives up to the potential everyone signed him. Right now, he belongs firmly on this list of the worst quarterbacks of 2024. Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, things have gotten ugly in Duval for Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lawrence was supposed to be the guy to lead the Jaguars out of the NFL cellar, but so far in 2024, well, really dating back to the midway point of last year, it's been a mighty rough go for the Clemson product. His inability to run the offense has had massive ripple effects on the team and its production. Jacksonville ranks near the bottom of the league in points scored, yards per play, red zone efficiency, and, well, basically every offensive metric you can think of. It isn't unusual when an offense is struggling like this for the quarterback gets the blame. But in this case, he's obviously culpable. Lawrence just has not been consistent. His mechanics are all over the place. Sometimes he's throwing sidearm or from a 3/4 angle, seemingly for no reason. Other times, his footwork is sloppy. And it would be one thing if you're still able to perform, but that has led to some pretty rough outings. I mean, think about this stat. His completion percentage sits at just 63.2%, which is 23rd in the league. And his win percentage as a starter is one of the worst among quarterbacks with at least 25 starts. And this is a former #1 overall pick that the Jaguars just re-upped too. I mean, they gave him just south of $300 million this offseason. He's really gonna have to turn it around fast because Lawrence is under the microscope down in Jacksonville now more than ever. And if this team really hits a death spiral, I don't know what they're going to do with him and all that money that they owe. Bo Nix, Denver Broncos. There were mixed expectations heading into the 2024 season for Broncos rookie Bo Nix. Yes, he was Sean Payton's passion project, but people weren't sure that he was quite ready for the big time. And, well, yeah, it kind of looks like they might have been right. Because Bo Nix has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league so far this year. Again, we know, he's a rookie and it is just 3 games. But still, those 3 games have not been pretty. His supporters were enlivened by his improvement in Week 2 when he bumped his yards per attempt from 3.3 to 7.0 and went for over 240 yards, but then he regressed again in Week 3, throwing for just 216 yards against the Bucs. And with 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions on the season, it seems like everything that the Broncos were able to do well on offense is actually in spite of Nix, not because of anything positive that he's doing. The Broncos were hoping that Nix could bring some stability to the quarterback position following the Russell Wilson debacle. debacle. But so far, that just hasn't happened. He still has time, but let's just say it's been a disappointing start for a guy who was supposed to bring new life to this Broncos offense. Daniel Jones, New York Giants. The Giants have really struggled to get anything going on offense in 2024, aside from rookie standout Malik Neighbors. And unfortunately, quarterback Daniel Jones is a big reason as to why. Statistically, he had a solid game in the Week 3 loss to the Cowboys, completing 29 of 40 passes for 281 yards. But the most telling stat? 0 touchdowns, and if you watch the game, you'd see how many open guys he missed. Times he held the ball far too long, and the way that the offense always seemed to stall out under his guidance. Oh, especially in the red zone. Granted, Jones was not the sole reason that they lost their most recent showing to the Cowboys, that being a 20-15 loss on Thursday Night Football to fall to 1-3. But still, with what they're paying him, New York has to be expecting him to be able to win those kinds of games. Jones has thrown for just 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions on the year, and the offense has been stagnant under his leadership. It's not that he's playing horribly, but he's not doing enough to elevate the team. That's a bit of a problem when you're supposed to be the franchise quarterback. Maybe he's not the single worst quarterback in the league, but he's still struggling, man, and it is ugly. Far too often, he just fails to deliver when the Giants actually need him to make a play. Jacoby Brissett, New England Patriots. Jacoby Brissett has been the starting quarterback for the Patriots so far this season, but it's looking more and more like his days as QB1 might be numbered, especially with the cryptic and ultimately non-committal responses that Jared Mayo and his staff are given in the media. Through 3 games, Brissett has completed just 60.9% of his passes for 368 yards and a single touchdown, and the Patriots offense has been painfully ineffective with him at the helm. With Mayo already clearly thinking about making a change, Brissett's time as a starter in New England might be coming to an end. Though the Patriots did jump out and grab a surprising win Week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals, it's not hard to see why Mayo might be growing tired of watching this offense play with Brissett under center. In the 3 games that the vet has started for the Patriots, they've gone 1-2, and he's completed just 60.9% of his passes for 368 yards and a touchdown. Fact of the matter is that Brissett, while well-liked around the league, has not done much to prove that he deserves the job. And unless something changes in short order, he could find himself demoted to backup sooner rather than later. But which NFL quarterback do you think has been the absolute worst thus far this year? Were there any that you disagreed with? Is there anyone that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton. And hey, we appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, well, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.